This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to Teach Me Pokemon, the podcast. I'm your host, Cory, and along with my co-host, Jared, we're best friends, been playing Pokemon for a very long time. You have been weighed, you have been measured, and it is now the 2024 Pokemon World Championships. We are Teach Me Pokemon podcast. I'm your host, Cory, with my co-host, Jared. Yes, we're not at Worlds right now. That's really sad. Next year, though, Jared. Next year, maybe.
Do we know where it is next year? Is it Europe? Is it London?
You know, so we're recording right now on Wednesday. World starts on Friday. This episode will drop this weekend. So you're maybe by the time people are hearing this, you know where Worlds is, but we don't know right now. We don't.
Okay.
So we've been building, Jared, for a full year. Okay. The NFL plays regular season games for 4 months, and then there's a Super Bowl. The NBA plays for like 6 months, and then there's a championship. Not many sports build for a full year to get to their championships, but we do here in Pokemon. So this
Absolutely.
is huge. We've been waiting for this.
I mean, the new season's already started. That's how far behind.
Yeah.
It's more than a year is what it feels like.
More than a year. I'm rocking my NIC hat, Yeah, here, Rayquaza. Got some of the mats in the background. I mean, we're taking it up. We got Tord here in the studio and Vance Kelly. They're here with us. Maybe on a TV screen, but they're here. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this format. I think is very wide open right now as far as what's going to win, what deck's going to win. Dude, I had no idea. No idea.
Well, I felt like I personally had locked into a deck that I was going to run locally as I prepare into the new season, and then I got a piece of mail, Cory.
Oh,
I got a piece of mail long ago. I had submitted an application that I was hoping would get put through the system to join the stall team.
Oh.
I really feel like I could bring some different perspective. I know I'm a short-term guy. They're more long-term people, but I'm sitting here, piece of mail right here.
All right.
from the stall committee.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought I was going to be getting some cards. Turns out I was just getting a piece of mail that I needed from you. But I got really excited when I saw the package and thought it was going to be my acceptance letter.
Oh no, yeah, Cal Connor sends those out. He's our mailroom guy. Shout out to Cal and his Snorlax play this year. He's our mailroom guy. But yeah, that was not Pokemon related. That is something you had requested from me a long time ago, and now I finally mailed it to you. But yeah, sadly,
it was,
not from the stall community.
Really sad. I felt it. felt packish. Felt like cards, maybe like an extended card protector. Really, really sad scenario for me today.
So sorry. So sorry. You can mail it back, and then I can send something else, maybe better. But yeah, my apologies on that one for not being from the stall community. We as a community here, we had our final board meeting, you could call it, on the weekend, and we feel good right now heading into this title, this championship. You know, we think stall could make some noise. So we'll see. We'll see how it breaks down. Like I said last week's episode, I think top 4. I think we'll get a top 4 finisher in there, stall or control. After that, sure. I don't know.
No. And I'm just left out here feeling like if there's any Pitch Perfect fans out there feeling like Benji trying to get into the acapella group. But,
Benji.
Doesn't seem like I'm going to get into the stall committee
Not yet.
group.
Whatever. Next season. This season. The current season. I don't know. Whatever season it is. Cool.
Well, Cory, let me ask you a question as we get into this first segment.
Yes.
Variance is a thing or is not a thing in the Pokemon TCG.
You know, Jared, there's a line from an old movie that I like to say a lot when I play live, Pokemon Live. It's, I'd rather be lucky than good, because I'm already good. And the variance in the stupid game, it holds me back. So, yes, sadly, there is some variance in the game of Pokemon.
Okay. Before the first player in a Pokemon TCG match takes to turn, what's the biggest thing that can happen in variants.
You do a coin flip?
No, I'm thinking before that. Let's say you found a basic, I found a basic. What could go wrong at that point? Something that's already been done after you both have a basic. You have to make sure that these
prize
things
cards,
are in
the prize
Your
cards get put out.
prize cards, yes.
Okay, all right.
Now, Cory, you and I have seen some heartbreakers that have come down to what is in an opponent's or that player's prize cards.
Sure. Yes.
And even in Worlds last year, we can think of times where it was like, oh, like what are they supposed to do?
Sure.
Like what are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like
3 curly are a prize.
Curly is prize.
What does Tord do? What can man do against such bad prizes?
Well, we're gonna play a little game today. This segment I'm calling Town Map. Do you remember the old Town Map card?
Flip them over, baby. Flip over your prizes.
For those of you that don't know, this is an old XY card. It just says, turn all of your prize cards face up. This was old Galade's worst nightmare if it played it on itself.
Oh, that
would never do that. But here's what I want to ask. I'm going to pitch you decks. I'm going to tell you what's prized. You're going to tell me who's pulling out the win.
Okay. You're gonna tell me a deck and what's prized, and then I'm gonna
tell you both matchups.
Okay.
We're gonna pick 2 top tier decks. Like we might say, let's do NAIC. Let's say there's a rematch of Gardevoir versus Lost Box our current set.
Okay.
Both players get a town map right off the bat, and there are this and this prize from Lost Box, and this and this prize for Gardevoir. Who's gonna win based purely on what is in the prizes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You ready?
I'm spin the wheel, baby.
Spin the wheel. All right. I'm gonna have you pick some numbers. All right. We're going 1 through 15. Pick 2 numbers.
3 and 9.
All right. 3 and 9. This is an oldie but a goodie matchup. This is Charizard versus Giratina.
Oh, okay.
Charizard versus Giratina.
Okay.
Charizard has both Pidgeot EXs prized.
Okay.
But Giratina, I don't know. I don't know if you can handle this. Giratina has 3 Mirage Gates prized.
Oh.
Who wins that match?
3 Mirage Gates versus 2 Pidgeots. Is Babarrel in this Pidgeot build or no Babarrel?
Yes, we're going to say Babarrel is in this Pidgeot build, yes.
Okay. Really Lost Impact, it ideally, in a perfect scenario, you're Lost impacting the Pidgeots, right? Hits 280, Pidgeot's 280. You clear the Pidgeot off the board. You save Requiem for the Charizards. In this case, I still like Tina because you really just have to get 1 Mirage Gate up to get the Star Requiem off to knock out the 1 Charizard that is probably putting a lot of pressure on you. And you can probably find it easier than the Charizard now. I mean, they can't find any cards. Like they can rare candy Charizard and put in a lot of pressure. But I think the Tina Requiem knocks out the Charizard. I think it'd be hard to get another one back up because they can't search her deck. So give me Tina in that matchup.
Tina. All right. Let's spin that wheel again. Give me 2 more.
Give me 1 and 15.
1 and 15. I like it a lot. All right. We'll be talking about let's see, Lost Box versus Miraidon.
Oh, love
Lost Box versus Miraidon. All right, so this one's pretty easy for me.
Okay.
Lost Box, 3 Comfies are prized. Miraidon, 3 electric generators are prized.
Oh, jeez.
Who gets the win here?
I think Lost Box finds a way to get this done because of the lack of energy acceleration. I know it's comfy. Right? It's I know you said Lost Box, but it's comfy. It's comfy deck. And I know the being able to Lost Zone will be a struggle here, but you still got your vacuums. You still got Colress. You can get there. I think you can still get to 4, start doing some damage, build it up. Miraidon's going to be kind of stuck. I mean, I don't know. They have to find that generator, that 4th one, and hit on that if they're going to try to stay in this match. So give me Lost Box.
Ooh, I like it.
Winning.
All right, let's do 2 more. Spin that wheel again, Corey. Spin that wheel again.
Give me 11 and 12. 11 and 12.
Arceus versus Future Box.
Oh, a Jared matchup here.
This is a Jared matchup if I've ever seen one.
You love these decks.
Oh man. Okay. Arceus has 2 double turbos and 2 Arceus V-Stars prized.
Ooh.
So a lot happening there. And then if we go over to Future Box, Future Box has both of its batons and its Mew EX prized. Who wins that matchup?
Future Box. Hands down, Arceus, I think, gets destroyed in this matchup. I think 2 DCEs, the 2 V-Stars, I don't even know how you're going to get an attack off as Arceus. And yes, the batons and the Mew, in my opinion, are built for the late game or mid to late game, right? The Mew helps you get out of Iono to 1. The batons help you keep the game going, but in this case, they don't even need to do that because they're just going to get on top of Arceus, steamroll, and go to victory. It would take too long, I think, for Arceus to be able to actually attack, to actually energy accelerate and yada, yada, yada from there. Unless they get lucky. And they're playing against me sometimes. It's unlucky, right? But, it could happen for them. Give me Future Box in that matchup.
All right. One last spin here on Town Map segment.
You know what? Let's pour one out for the homies. Let's go 2 versus 7.
Okay, you've caught on to my system, I see. Caught on, I see.
No.
Well, it's Gardevoir versus Snorlax Stall. All right, and this is it. This is interesting.
Oh yeah, what's prized? Yeah, sorry, I was like, let's just go.
Here, I'm gonna say that all but 1 Curlia are prized.
Okay,
and there is Rotom as well as your Hisuian Heavy Ball are prized for your Snorlax Stall deck. Again, no Pidgeot in this deck. This is traditional Snorlax Stall.
You're so dirty. That's brutal. That's a brutal one. I think the Gardevoir wins. If they're smart, they only need really 1 Curlia in this matchup because you're just going to teleport. If it's Snorlax Stall, it's Stall, right? Yeah. So they're just teleportation bursting around. You only need 1 Curlia to get the Gardevoir. Without Rotom, it's brutal. Like if you can't get to it, and at least you only run 1 Rotom in here.
1 Rotom. We're talking 1 Rotom deck list.
Yeah, Gardevoir should be good in that matchup. I'd feel it depends on who piloting, but I feel like the Gardevoir player should win that matchup.
Well, I like it. That's a quick one today, but it's intriguing to me, and I know we're going to be talking about Worlds more in our next segment. We've heard people in the past talk about, well, let's just play heads up Pokemon. Let's not make the prizes.
Turn the prizes over. Yeah.
Turn the prizes over.
Yeah.
There's more information, maybe some strategic advantage to how you do that.
Yeah.
But Town Map was always a card that was so interesting, and it's interesting to see what you have to do when some of your best cards are going to be prized.
Yeah. No, it's very, very fascinating. What was the mechanism? I guess it would have been where you could look at all 6 and then lay them back down in any order you wanted to, but they were still face down.
I forget. I know the one you're talking about, but I don't remember.
Because there was always a method to how I would lay them back down. Like I'd put like supporters at the top, trainers in the middle, Pokemon at the bottom. Like I remember, I always thought,
if not, we're going to be talking about cheating in our educational moment. So that'd be...
No, it was like a move. It was like a trainer card did this. That wasn't cheating. It wasn't cheating. All right. Okay, we're moving into our second segment. But before we get there, Jared, you know what every Pokemon player needs.
No, they need to open up some packs, Corey. Packs. Or if they can't themselves, at least watch some packs being opened.
Yeah, and maybe you just want some collector cards. PSA 9.5s, 10s, all the good stuff. Stray Collections with a Z has everything you'd need. YouTube channel, store, website, TCG player. Stray Collections is it, man. I have a feeling Stray Collections is about to take 5 steps forward. I have a feeling. He's been a big supporter of our podcast. We love the work he's doing. I think Stray Collections is about to make some noise in the Pokemon world. I can feel it. Feel it in my
like
bones.
it.
So anyway, check him out. Stray Collections.
Love it.
So as we move into this segment that I am going to call Judge. Judge is a popular supporter card. It's been around. It's been around. It's been to the puppet show, Jared. Judge has seen the strengths.
It's seen the strengths.
Judge has seen the strengths. There's so many versions of Judge, like alt art versions, But the essence of Judge is shuffle your hand, each you and your opponent, and draw 4. Okay? So, Jared, that's what you and I are going to do in this segment. We are going to draw 4. In the spirit of, and I know we try not to bring sports into this podcast, but sometimes we do because we just love sports. You and I have been playing in a fantasy football league together since like 06, maybe 07, somewhere. Long time. We're old.
It's true.
We're old. So this is fantasy football style, but we're going to bring a Pokemon into this mix. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So let me give you a rundown how this game's going to work, Mr. Game Master. This is how my game's going to work. Do you know how many interviews we've had on the Teach Me Pokemon this season? Do you know how many people we've had on the podcast?
I'm going to say 12.
12. Very close. We've had 10. We've had 10. Now, you might be thinking of Stefan Ivanov as well. Technically, Stefan was last season, if we're the technicality. So he would be our 11th, but technically we've had 10. Now, in order to make the Judge segment work, we're each going to pick 4. Okay, and I'm going to get through this here in a second. But I had to kick 2 off because you don't judge and draw 5. You draw 4. So Kyle...
It could have been an Iono, and we both had taken a prize card.
Not as fun. So I'm going to tell you who our 8 players are that are going to be our pool that we're going to pick from. Okay, but before we do that, the 2 we're kicking off is Kyle Sablehouse, who we love Kyle. He will be announcing Worlds. He won't be playing in Worlds. Now, Kyle's good enough. He could play.
Oh, he's totally good enough.
He's good enough, but he's not playing. The man has kids. He's not playing. And then our friend of the pod, Logan, who is local there in Murfreesboro, suburb of Nashville. We love Logan. Sadly, Logan did not make Worlds. So, Logan, you got it, man. You just got to put more time in this year. So this is a motivational thing for you. Now, these other 8, we only interview the best, Jared. I hope people realize that. I hope people learn. Now, our buddy James Washer, he was close this year. James was close, did not make it. So we have these other 8. I'm going to list them off. You're going to get to draft first, okay?
Ooh.
Whichever one of us has the best finishing between our 4 players, the other person has to pay for their entry into the Louisville regionals.
Oh, this is spicy. Okay, so what you're saying then is we'll look at the standings, and whoever has the lowest score,
correct,
will win this battle.
That is correct.
Game
so
on.
Now, like if let's say one of my players loses in day 1, but they're tied for however many players were left in the field, that's how many points that's going to be.
Okay,
does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, so you'll have the honors of going first. I'm going to list you the names, and I have a minor little statistic for you to maybe help with your decision making. Okay, so here's
sure not to make me
not
switch up at all.
Not at all. So
I do have one more question before.
Yes.
Is this a snake draft where you will be selecting 2 and 3?
No,
and then I will get 4.
No, we're just going to go back and forth. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You get the first pick in the draft. That's fine. I am a kind, gentle soul. And if you need me to repeat these because you don't have them in front of you like I do, I'm glad to do it. Matthew, are you going to write them down? Matthew, our producer, is going to throw them up on the screen here so our viewers can see who we're talking about here, okay? But for the sake of this, write them down. So U.S. and Canada, we had 6 players we interviewed from U.S. and Canada that made it to World. the third place person in third right now with points is Lucas Jing. He's in this mix. Fifth right now in points is Aiden Coos. 20th, Raul Reddy. 32nd, the Mew player, Colin Merrily Matthews, who, Colin, you can't play Mew. So I hope you didn't bring Mew VMAX to this. In 176th, our buddy, and he got lucky, Nick Robinson, who I played at San Antonio. You didn't get lucky, Nick. You didn't. I respect your game. The interesting one, Pramawat, Michael Pramawat, he got an auto invite. So technically by points, Pram missed Worlds. But because he was a top 4 finisher last year, he gets invited this year. So
I like that.
All right. We got one from the EU region, Mr. Owen Kammerman. He's fifth.
Ooh.
Fifth in points right now in EU.
Owen with a Y.
Owen with a Y. And then our boy.
I know.
Our boy, currently seventh in Latin America, Marco Cifuentes.
Marco.
7th place. I thought he was like second. But those top 3 in Latin America, those Acevedo, Pedro, he had some tough competition in Latin America. So those are our 8, Jared. Lucas, Aiden, Raul, Colin, Nick, Pramawat, Owen Kammerman, Marco Cifuentes. These were all interviews from this season of the Teach Me Pokemon podcast. They all are at Worlds, and now we got to pick our team, Jared. So I just played a judge, and we have to now draw 4. What's going to be? Who's your first pick?
I don't align with this individual a whole lot, if at all.
Okay.
But if we're playing for aggregate points, it would be stupid of me to pick against this individual.
Oh.
So I'll take Lucas. Easy money. I will take Lucas.
All year have been bad-mouthing Xian Pao, and now you have picked arguably the Xian Pao master. Maybe
I have.
Rowan might have something to say to that, but is your first pick?
First pick. Easy. Because you've said it so many times on this podcast. You want to get to the top 4? Play Xian Pao. And it's not who's going to win. I'll take a top 8 finisher easily on my team.
That's true. Dang it. That's a good pick. Yeah, shoot. That's a really good pick. Okay.
Easy first pick.
We don't know what Lucas is playing. He might be playing Raging Bolt. We don't know.
Let's Excalibur. Let's Excalibur.
Lucas better have the Kingdra build that we talked about, where roll the Kingdra out there, bring out the 2 Excaliburs on your bench and a Xian Pao, and you're fine. What are we doing here?
Golden.
All right. Well, then this next choice. I mean, I understand your logic, but you left the door open for Pro's Pro. He has been playing a long time. Throw him in the field. He's gonna perform well. Give me Michael Pramawat. This guy, he will not miss day 2. Like Pram is, he will go in. He's not scared of whoever's going to be against him. And if anybody on this list could instill a little bit of fear into your opponent, which these opponents are going to be top tier, it's Pram. But you have a top 4 finisher from last year, always in the mix. So give me Michael Pramawat as my first pick in the Worlds draft here.
Cory, I'm surprised at you. I thought over the years you would have learned. What is my greatest mistake every year we play fantasy football?
You always get the old guys.
I always pick the vets, Cory. I always pick the vets.
I like to call them the vets, but yes.
I'm going with my next pick. I'm going young blood, baby.
Oh, okay.
Young blood.
Okay.
What did I say last week was going to win Worlds?
You said Reggie Drago was going to win Worlds.
Okay, let's try this again. What did I say last week was going to win Worlds?
You said Lost Box was going to.
And who on this list is an up-and-coming young player with a penchant for playing Lost Box, Cory?
You have to give the definition of penchant first.
A proclivity, a desire, an expertise of playing Lost Box.
I did play his Kyogre build a lot on live, and it was a lot of fun. So, Aiden, you're taking Aiden here.
Aiden.
All right,
Texas kid, come on, let's go.
He's got Aiden. If Aiden wins, then I have to basically probably pay for your entry into Louisville, I will be very excited for Aiden. I think 1 year of seasoning for Aiden, though. I think that's what it's going to take. But
I have a request at this point. I'm just getting word from the commissioner that there's being a trade offered, and that I'm willing to trade all of the rest of my picks and select 8th if I can pick my next pick now.
No, the trade declined. The trade declined because I already know who you're going to pick, and I'm taking him. And if we're going to have an outside person be wily in this tournament, it's Marco Cifuentes. Latin America represented this year. He was in a tough, 350. Jared, you and I should have moved to Brazil. 350 points was all you needed to get to Worlds, right? Not a lot, but that didn't matter for Marco. He was grinding through and the top heavy, Latin America top heavy. Giving Marco as my second pick in my draft. I smell top 8 with Marco. I think he's going to come out of nowhere and he's going to be representing Latin America. And trade declined. Get that out of here.
Well, I can't let you take the rest of the world, so I will be taking Owen with my third pick.
Yeah.
I mean, Cory, he's won a lot.
He has won a lot
this year.
Special events, regionals, back-to-back wins. Yeah. Yeah.
The man is figuring out what is playing well, and he's performing in big-time situations. So I think he's someone to be reckoned with. I think I'm getting value. Yeah, big time value with a third pick taking Owen.
You are, and EU, similar to Latin America, very top heavy in there. Yep. It wasn't as many points needed to make it to Worlds, but to be top 5 in a European region that obviously we know the names, the Tords of the world, like they were in that region, so that's big time. I'm I'm gonna go. This is a tough one. I love Nick, and I love Colin. Colin's come on the show multiple times, by the way, I'd like to say. However, I think Raul has traveled. He's been to Australia. He's played here. He puts the time in. He has a good team. He keeps it light and fresh. He was man enough to admit that, yes, I did beat him at a Portland Regionals about 25 years ago. And it goes to my older team that I'm putting together here, I guess besides Marco. But give me Raul ready. I think he's put the time in. He's an adult, has an adult job, but still plays the game. And he's a tactician. He will not crumble under the pressure. So give me Raul in my third selection spot here.
Just another selection for Team Geriatric. Like just picking on the old souls over here. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna leave you. I'm taking Colin with my last pick.
Okay.
Because the man is not like, why run Mew? Because it keeps winning. Yeah. So I think he's going to figure out, obviously, he can't run Mew. Maybe there'll be a Mew EX and whatever he runs. Sure. Just a little shout out to what he does.
Yeah.
But I similar to Owen, like, I'm going to run with it. Nick seems more of like a wily pick. I feel like he's better suited for your team.
Sure.
So I'm going to take Colin. Give me Colin.
All right.
And you're going to get Nick. And then, okay, so I'm sitting with Lucas, Aiden, Colin, Owen versus Michael Pramawat, Marco Cifuentes, Raul Reddy, and Nick Robinson.
That's the deal. That's the team right there. That's the squad. I was trying to come up with a trade with you at the end to allow me to bring Stefan onto my team, but I don't know. I don't know what the trade would have to be to bring Ivanov into this.
It's not impossible, but it's very improbable. Let's say our point totals align.
You mean they're like we're tied?
They're equal.
Okay,
we need a tiebreaker. Okay. Let's talk about Stefan real quick.
Okay.
So let's say a number that top 64.
Okay.
I'll let you pick since you were kind enough. Does he finish in the top 64 or outside of the top 64 as a tiebreaker? Doesn't mean if anything else unless there's a tie.
Stefan. He's probably going to play Gardevoir. is what I'm thinking. Give me top 64. Stephon,
Okay.
top 64.
Take it to top 64.
Top
Okay.
64. Okay, so
Like it.
so if we're tied and he is in the bottom, he's not top 64. He's 128 or lower, then you win the tiebreaker. But if he's top 64, then I win the tiebreaker.
Then you win the tiebreaker.
All right. Okay, Stephon. Oh, now I'm nervous now. Okay. Let's say he finishes. I guess there's no way for it to be a tie. Let's say he gets disqualified. Okay. Over under. Kyle announces the finals. What do you think? Yes or no? Will Kyle Sablehouse be on the announcing team for the finals?
Absolutely. You got to put Sablehouse in the finals. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Over under 2.5 minutes for the singing of the Pokemon theme song at the beginning of the tournament.
I want to be the very best that ever was. Going under on the.
Going under. Not gonna have Mariah out there stretching it out.
Christina Aguilera going for it. Probably some Hawaiian. Who was the guy that did the where over the rainbow?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who it is, but
the big Hawaiian dude.
That'd be a dope remix of
that
the Pokemon
would be.
theme
I
songs.
hope he's there. Actually, he might not be with us. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know.
That's okay.
Whatever.
That's okay.
There.
Let's take him into education.
Let's go. Well, hey, that wraps up our judge segment. We'll see, and then we get to go to Louisville. Jared, did you know you and I could go to Baltimore still right now? It's still you could register. It didn't sell out.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because
I imagine that Louisville's going to go quick.
I think Louisville's going to go quick. I think people need to see this season end. I think it's hard in their brain to start going to the next season. League cups and challenges, that's one thing, but that's been practice maybe for Worlds. But I think this needs to end first, and then we'll see what's like next week. So anyway, the judge. I played judge on you. There you go.
I love it.
Cool.
Great segment. I love it. Corey, this is an interesting education moment because I think a lot of people's perception of the people at Worlds, and rightfully so, is that they're the best players.
Yeah.
And that they don't make a lot of mistakes, which is probably another reason that they're there. But I've concocted this way of playing that I think will help the rest of us that are not at Worlds think maybe of how these players think in order so that you can select the best deck to play or the best deck for you.
Okay.
So that's kind of my setting up the context for what we're about to talk about.
Okay.
I'm calling this education moment Perfect Pokemon.
Perfect Pokemon. Okay.
And I want to challenge the people that listen to our podcast as we move into a new year, and even thinking about Worlds, to grab some of your testing buddies, some people at your league, and play this way.
Okay.
Right? Because here's the truth of something. We get a deck together. We're always thinking about, if I just had this, or if I just hit that.
Okay.
I'm going to encourage you to play that way. I want you to get with your friends. Everybody put your best deck list together, standard deck list. Don't build a deck specifically for this style of play. Build a standard deck that you would play standard. And we've talked about starting with your ideal hand so that both players, but I want you to play every hand ideal and eliminate any chance, any card that has any chance, eliminate it. So let me give you an example.
Yeah, I'm confused.
You're pick a deck, Corey. Pick a deck. Just say a deck.
Regidrago.
Okay, you're playing Regidrago. I'm playing Raging Bolt.
Okay.
We're going to pick what our prizes are.
Okay.
We're going to pick our starting hands.
Okay.
Okay. And then we start.
Who gets to go first?
It doesn't matter.
Well, I guess in that matchup, I want to go first. You want to go second.
Sure. Okay, you go first. I go second. Okay. Any card that has any chance with it, make it perfect. So I play Sada's Vitality. I get my 2 energy from my discard pile. Then I'm going to pick the 3 cards I want from my deck.
Okay.
There's no chance anything. I play a Professor's Oak Research. I'm grabbing you just can't break what the card does. Okay, so if you're playing an Arvin, well, yeah, you're still going to grab any tool and any item card, but I want to eliminate any chance. I want you playing chess
But
with Pokemon.
I get what you're saying. I get, and I'm not trying to be a butthead. But why on any planet would I play Arvin when I could play research for any 7 cards I want?
Well, but you're still following the standard rules, right? Like,
what standard rules?
Like, you're going to pick any 7 cards, but you can't play another supporter card per turn.
Well, that's fine. Arvin's just telling me I get an item and a tool. Well, great.
I know, but
research, I get an item and a tool and 5 other cards I want.
Right, but this levels the playing field of figuring out, in my opinion, like what is really good, because you're getting everything in your wildest dreams when you put your deck together. Right? When you build a deck, I'm not planning for worst case scenarios. I'm building it saying, like, I'm going to research and I'll hit this, and this.
Okay.
And play it out, because my opinion is if you play this, the best decks are still going to be the best decks because they still do the things that they do. And hash it out. Sit down and play it out. Like, everyone always says, oh, if I just would have had this, it will help your situational awareness. An Iono is still going to get rid of your hand.
Yeah.
A judge is still going to judge your hand away and really see what your deck is made of in your best case scenarios. Yeah. And then I think the best decks are still going to stand out.
It's interesting because you are playing. So you're picking, let's say you research, let's say you Sadas. Let's use the example of the matchup you gave. Regidrago versus Raging Bolt. I go first. Ideally, I'm trying to get Dragos out. I want my Teal Dance. I want to be set up. I want to have the V-Star next turn. Like, I'm setting myself up. I want the right cards discarded to do the right moves. You are playing to knock out whatever's active because that's what Raging Bolt does. So you're picking cards for that. But in theory, I, in my first turn, need to be picking cards that can answer your perfect turn. And then you are grabbing cards that are going to answer my perfect turn. But what if I guess wrong on what your perfect turn is, and you guess wrong, and then the cards I grabbed they don't matter anymore. It's like, well, shoot, I thought you were going to knock me out. What if you what if you decided not to knock me out?
Well, it's super.
I don't know. It's interesting. I get it. I get where you're saying of like optimizing to play scenarios. But it's just not going to happen that way.
It's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen that way. But it forces you, in my opinion. What would you get? Like, okay, I run. Let's see. Last night. I was playing Arceus Amarage against my son.
Okay.
That deck runs Professor Oak's research.
Okay.
Right. So what would I get with my 7 cards? Has to be a question in my head. Like,
sure.
Oh, if I got my perfect thing, or if I had everything that I really wanted, could I still win this game?
Yeah. Because most times you're like researching, you're like, man, I really need an energy. So
right,
I'm gonna
hit something.
I'm gonna draw 7 here. You're not thinking, wow, my 7 cards are 2 fire energy, 1 ultra ball, another research, Arceus for the bench, like and choice belt. Like, you're just not thinking what you want your 7 to be. You're like, hey, I really need to hit this 1 card here. And so
I think it's brilliant. You're getting to play so many cards. It's still forcing you to sequence things correctly. I'd say play perfect Pokemon and tell me that doesn't help you plan out things better, become a better player.
Yeah.
It isn't. It's never going to exist. But I will say, we've watched many games on stream where it's like, oh, they have to hit X, Y, and Z off of this ion, and then they hit it, and then they know how to play it out.
Well, it's usually like, oh, they get a flower select for 1 card, they need a boss, or they get 2, they look at 2 cards. Oh, there's a boss, they got it. Like, that to me feels like kind of feasible versus like you're changing the rule set of cards. Like, research, pick any 7 cards you want out of your deck. Like, that would be insane. That's not the card you draw. Like, it's random.
You can play this in levels too, right? Like,
sure,
you could play perfect Pokemon, or you can say, okay, if it's a draw card, you still have to draw. There's different ways to saying this, but I say all of this is like, we build all of these decks. We've spent most of our podcast talking about what the best decks are. Let's give everybody the best case scenario.
Sure.
and see what it really is. And then what we find out, I think, in the midst of all this is, yes, perfect Pokemon doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What is the best deck given variance?
Well,
and that's what you see rise to the top.
I mean, as a Sylveon GX player, it was perfect Pokemon because I did get to I got to pick every card I ever wanted. So it does exist. I have been there, and it is glorious. It's very hard to beat. But besides that point, like, I mean, that theory is interesting, Jared, because like when you're determining percentages, like we always say, Charizard is 60% against Lost Box 40%. It's a 60-40 matchup. When they're coming up with those percentages, or when we are we assuming each deck gets a perfect start and gets the perfect play? And then at the end of the day, if each deck has perfectness, Charizard wins 60% of the time and Lost Box wins 40%? Like, is that how we determine percentages when we're asked these questions?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know. I'm sorry. No, it's with variance, right?
Okay.
And it not the same pilots every single time either, so you have to account for that fact as well.
Sure.
So it is very interesting, and I imagine if the game was played this way, things would change drastically. People would build decks differently, obviously. But
yeah,
I'm looking for reps. I'm looking for actually getting to play the fullness of the game.
Yeah.
In an interesting concept, and I do think at the upper levels it does come down to things like that. Like, did they pick this? Because I know they got to draw 3 cards. So what am I going to do? I just think it creates some situational awareness as well.
No, I think it's cool. I think that it is kind of getting to the level of, like you said, situational awareness. If you're at a game, you're down this, you play this card, what's most likely to always happen? Or if you hit what you need and you still can't win, maybe this isn't a good deck, or really that matchup isn't just meant to be. So I'm kind of with you. I mean, in reality, you have all game against a stall player to get any card you want, realistically. Now, I know they can discard them out of your hand and stuff like that. But it's like, if you can't beat that deck, even with every card you have at your disposal, which is sometimes true, like that's just a bad matchup. Like, that's just a bad matchup.
It's going to let you know.
Yeah,
it's going to let you know. In my mind, this also gets rid of a lot of excuses.
Sure.
Right? Like, there are no excuses in chess, Corey.
No.
You got beat.
Yeah,
all the pieces do the same things. We're on a level playing field here. Mine is who goes first or second.
Well, maybe you're warm-blooded and I'm cold-blooded, and the air conditioning unit was on too high. Now I'm like chilly, and I can't play as fast in chess. So maybe there are some things that are outside the game. No, I'm joking, but I mean, it takes away the variance, I suppose, but you're still like, you're putting your best hand together or your best turn based on what you would have to think what your opponent's doing, and you might still guess wrong. And because they might be thinking another step ahead of you, and then you're trying to think 2 steps ahead of them, and then they're thinking 3 steps ahead of you, and then you're just back to just playing Pokemon again. So, it's like, that's what I would do.
I think it would be so much fun. I'm going to add it to Elijah and I's regiment here, playing some perfect Pokemon, and I think we'll discover very quickly what's authentically better and what's authentically not.
When's your league starting back up? What's going on there? Are you going to go back soon?
We will go back in the next couple of months. For our listeners that don't know, just had a baby.
You had a baby. I was going to mention it at the top, and then I got excited and forgot.
Yes, so everyone's kind of chilling at home right now. We're establishing a new rhythm.
Good.
I will say there was a deal orchestrated with my wife for us and my son and Corey to get to the Louisville regionals.
Yeah.
That deals with when we get to go back to league. So there's many factors.
Oh, sure. I thought you were about to say, and that deal got reneged on. So I thought that was what was next coming out of your mouth there. So, okay.
That was written in blood.
Okay. Sometimes I think they still get past that. So I don't know. But good. Well, dude, this is it. We're here. We're going to see what happens. By the time you're listening to this, we're already probably into day 2, maybe. I mean, we don't know. But next week, we'll come back. We'll do some reviews of Worlds. Have a cool new segment where we can watch some play. We're going to talk about them, so that'll be fun. And we're just going to keep, like, every episode, just keep leveling up. Jared, we got to get to that second stage evolution. Right now we're like Charmeleon right now, level 18. Maybe we just learned, Flame Strike. I don't know if that's even new. But we'll get to 32. We'll get to 32 in Charizard. Or is it 36? When does Charmeleon evolve? I think it was 32.
It's been a hot minute since I played. I'm a VGC.
Yeah, I don't play the game.
Yeah,
don't play the video game.
Back in the day, I need a black and white screen for it to make sense to me.
I love it. Well, cool. All right, dude. Any lasting thoughts before we roll on out of here?
Nope. Just subscribe as always.
Subscribe.
Click that little button below. Get us up to 1K viewership.
Hit the bell. Hit the subscribe. Hit the notification.
Help us out, man.
We're climbing. We're getting there. Come on, baby. Cool. And we got some fun stuff. Some things that we will announce soon that we kind of have going on in the background of some potential, shall I say, get your chest out, maybe. Maybe do a little chest action, chest bump, chest whatever. Maybe I don't know. A little hint. I don't know. Who knows? So, all right. I'm Cory. You're Jared, and as always, we will catch you later. You can find us at roguemedianetwork.com. Teach Me Pokemon Podcast. Come and dive with us.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.